The Nevada County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue is a California nonprofit corporation staffed with volunteers and entirely funded by donations and fundraisers. Volunteer members are local citizens that have the desire to help their neighbors and friends in a time of need. And here to tell us about this organization is Deputy Sheriff Dustin Moe. So Dustin, thank you for being here with us.
Of course.
Glad to have you here.
It's great being here.
What can you just give me a brief overview of exactly what Search and Rescue does?
Oh, I don't know if there's a brief way to talk about it. So
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
They primarily go out and try and find the lost people out in the wilderness. That can be all-encompassing though, because Nevada County is quite vast, rural. We have a lot of steep terrain once you start getting up in the summit area, so we have a lot of different specialty teams that encompass all the variety of terrain that we have within the county. Aside from that, they train year-round for all those missions that they go out and do throughout the year, and they also take part in a lot of community events alongside with the sheriff's office. So going to the fair, going to Truckee air shows, they go to bike racing events and help support the medical side of the events.
Okay. Now, I can think of maybe a couple specialty things. I think I told you before, I'd seen guys on their quads running around through my neighborhood. I guess they were training that particular day. What other kind of specialty teams do you have?
Well, I'm sure I'm going to miss a few, but...
Well, do the best you can.
So we have an e-bike team, so the battery-powered bicycles. We have a team dedicated to that, which helps them cover a lot of trail quickly.
Yeah.
That's a little bit better than we used to run dirt bikes, but now they're on this e-bike phase because they're quiet, so you can actually hear stuff while you're out there searching. We have an evidence team that assists primarily with our major crimes unit and going through crime scenes. We have Nordic teams, rope teams, dive team. The foundation of search and rescue is our ground pounders. So not necessarily a specialty team, but that's what everyone starts off as, is a ground pounder, and then they're classified as either type 1 or type 2, and that's just dependent on the type of terrain and elevations that they can go to, whether they can spend the night out in the field and stuff like that as well. We also have a drone team that we're trying to get up and off the ground, so we have some prospective members that are going to start getting their Part 107 licenses so they can fly these unmanned drones and assisting with the searches. We have an OHV team that they drive all of the equipment. So we have 2 snowcats, we have a handful of side-by-sides during the wintertime. We equip a couple of them with tracks on them so we can go up in the snow country. Have a fleet of different trucks in order to pull. We have an incident command trailer, and then we have 2 Mercedes Sprinter vans, one of which was donated by the Truckee Tahoe Airport. The funds for that on building it, and those are very beneficial. So those get used multiple times throughout the year. So if we have any fires, those come out and assist the sheriff's office with evacuations and trackings, and then they have a specific fire evacuation team, members of the volunteers that come out and help with the fires. There's a team specific for running incident commands, just kind of behind the scenes people. So there's a lot to cover.
I was going to say maybe those are like ham radio operators, amateur radio operators.
I'm sure some of them have some experience behind that. Some of the members of Search and Rescue. So we have, I don't know how to put it. We have I'll just say this. So for their communications, they ended up building out their own radio infrastructure. So they have, I can't think of the words for that either.
I don't know. Yeah, it's a network.
Relays that they've placed throughout the county. So their radio comms are actually commonly better than what we have on a patrol standpoint.
On the patrol standpoint.
Yeah, so they've done a lot of work. They're very dedicated, go-getting. So they've raised funds to get those out there to try and keep everyone in communication.
I heard you mention the dive team, and one of the things that comes to mind, of course, is we have this wonderful resource at the South Yuba River, but unfortunately it turns dangerous a lot of times, and people require you guys to come out and pluck them out of hard spots out there in the river. Do you have a whitewater rescue team also, or is that separate from the dive team, or is that the dive team?
Yeah, no, so we don't have it's considered swift water rescue with the moving water like that. And we don't run that on our dive team currently. That's through the fire department.
Okay.
That they have a swift water rescue team. Occasionally we'll work alongside them and kind of run the shore as they're doing any operations to assist. But they'll be the ones that are getting in the water. So our dive team primarily will work out on our lakes. So we've had a few drownings recently. We had one in Rawlins and then one up at Donner Lake this past year as well, where our dive team was called out. Our dive team also went up to the Thermalito Afterbay up in Butte County.
Yeah. That incident was up there.
And assisted up there. So that one is a commingled team. So we have a few different sworn members, meaning members of the sheriff's office that are on it. And then we have a few different volunteers that are also part of the team that help out with it.
Now, other than you're assigned to search and rescue full-time in your capacity as a sergeant with the sheriff's department.
Yeah, so I'm the primary sworn person that oversees search and rescue. So we have maybe a dozen or so other deputies that are cross-trained. And the way that works, so search and rescue, all the members, everyone that you see wearing orange are going to be our volunteers, the ones that are putting feet to the ground. And then anytime that they go out on a search, they have to have a coordinator resource from the sheriff's office that goes along with them.
Okay.
And then I have some other responsibilities on my assignment. So I do search and rescue, OHV, boats, and I oversee our drone program that just got up and running as well. So
now you mentioned making money. The sheriff's department does not totally fund search and rescue.
No, definitely not.
What percentage does the sheriff's office fund?
That'd be a hard one for me to put out there.
Roughly.
10% maybe, 15%.
So the rest of it's from community. Are you able to get grants or anything like that? Yeah,
so I'd say a large chunk of the funds that they use are not garnished, but they get it from the 2 fundraisers that they do each year.
Okay.
So annually they'll do one up in Truckee and one down in Grass Valley. And that's the primary point where they'll get the majority of their funds. However, they also do go out for grants here and there. So we recently just did one through Direct Relief. It's a local company, not local, California company. And they just got a grant in order to purchase a new side-by-side. So we're still they were accepted on it, and we're still in the process of getting awarded the money so they can make a purchase with it.
Okay. Now, we got to give you a commercial moment here. What are the 2 fundraisers that you were talking about in Truckee? One in Truckee and one down here. What are they? When are they? How can people contribute?
It's during the holiday times when they do them most of the time. And it's just, we scatter search and rescue members throughout the area in Truckee and in Grass Valley. So any of the high traffic, foot traffic areas around like Safeway, Starbucks, any of those places where it's going to get a high number of people going to, you'll see members standing out there in orange clothing, and they're out there just trying to raise funds for the program and make it easier for them to go and rescue people.
What do you guys have for a budget roughly in a year?
Around 100,000, 80 to 100,000.
Really not that much.
No, not, especially with the amount of equipment that they run. Yeah, no, it's a lot. They accomplish a lot with minimal amount.
With little.
Yeah.
I see. Is there anything else you want to tell me about it?
Oh, geez.
I mean, feel free. This is your chance to plug your organization.
We're
a paid advertisement right here.
We're always looking for new members. So
there's
a couple different ways for people to go about the process. If they just Google Nevada County Sheriff Search and Rescue, my desk number will actually be on the website. I believe it's like ncssar.org. They were just working on a new website as well. But So you can give me a call personally, and I can walk you through the steps. There's also a link on there where people can fill out an application. We set up an interview, which would include myself and a few other volunteer members, sit down for 30, 45 minutes, kind of get to know the people, and then work through the process. We have a board that oversees it. So there's a vote that has to be taken for acceptance. I do a quick background check, and then there's just an onboarding process. They do their own academy, which is quite extensive. It starts in late April and goes the full month of May, and then it's every Saturday and Sunday during that time frame where they're out in the field with search and rescue, learning everything that they need to know.
Techniques.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned to you, I saw the guys on quads running around my street, whatnot, training. Guys that are on the quads, guys that are on the Nordic teams with skis and whatnot, everybody buys their own equipment.
Yeah.
So these guys it's personally owned quads, personally owned ski equipment that everybody's using.
Yeah, sometimes it'll be, the majority of the vehicles are owned by the nonprofit. So like all of our side-by-sides, pickups, snowcats, stuff like that.
The big stuff.
Yeah, but we do have like enduro teams that have their own privately purchased dirt bikes that they bring out. And then, the vast majority of gear that people are using, they purchase with their own dollars to help benefit our community.
No, you mentioned the e-bikes. These guys have their own e-bikes.
Yeah. No, we have, I believe, 4 e-bikes that the nonprofit has bought, but the majority of people on the e-bike team have their own e-bike.
Okay.
But yeah, it's very impressive. So I took over the program about a year ago, and it's just amazing how much, the type of people that we have and the amount that they're willing to invest into the program, not only in their own time, their money, taking them away from their families. Like they answer the phone at 3 a.m. to come out when it's pouring rain or snow, or it's the middle of the day and it's 100 degrees outside. They show up to come help find people. So it's very rewarding.
Good enough. And you said you have there's a website. Is it connected? The sheriff's department's sheriff's office website will direct us to the search and rescue.
Yeah. So through the sheriff's office website, you can access that through mynevadacounty.com. There should be a link in there for search and rescue. But if you just Google search or just search Nevada County Search and Rescue, they have their own website that they built out for the nonprofit side of it, and has a lot of good information on there. Kind of describes different teams. So,
anything else you want to add before we go?
Nothing I can think of right now.
All right. Well, thank you, Dustin. Appreciate having you here.
Of course.
All right, everybody.